Aaron Rodgers, throughout the offseason, a lot of people thought was going to be traded. Maybe because he just didn't want to be a Green Bay Packer anymore. Some people thought that he wanted to go to San Francisco to end his career. Some people thought he wanted to be the host of Jeopardy. He was on his way of getting married. Now all of a sudden he's no longer engaged. They're no longer together anymore. I'm not surprised. I mean, some of the stories that I was reading. But there was stories coming out from Aaron Rodgers' camp that there were 3 teams that he was very interested in being traded to if he didn't sign that long-term deal with the Green Bay Packers, which pays him $50 million a year, which he's the highest paid quarterback in NFL history. Highest paid athlete in sports history, by the way, $50 million a year. Yes, Jeff, he is, he's, what's the word? Greedy?
Sure.
And that's why Jeff thinks that Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers are going to suck this year. Quite possibly could happen.
It could.
I do believe that the Green Bay Packers are going to bring in a free agent, either Julio Jones, Odell Beckham. Now, Odell Beckham will not be back until the second half of the season. Might not be back till the last 7 games of the season, which you're going to miss a lot. And are they going to be able to survive without an Odell Beckham if you sign him to that extension or give him an extra 2 or 3 year contract? I mean, Julio Jones, he's a little washed up, but I would bring Julio in. I'd take
still worth a chance over what they have.
Well, that, and you have Aaron Rodgers throwing you the ball. I
Yeah.
mean, he's never had a quarterback that good throwing him the ball. As good as Matt Ryan is, he's not Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
Who else is available?
Jarvis Landry's another one.
Jarvis and Landry was
maybe they pair him and Odell together again. I mean, it's worth a shot.
No, I don't think they're going to pair them. They're going to get one or the other. I don't think they have the money to bring both of them in.
Well, who knows? They might take pay cuts to play with each other.
How are they going to bring both of them in? Answer that question.
Both of them take pay cuts, I guess, to play with each other.
Both of them are not going to take pay cuts. Jarvis Landry's looking for his final contract, and so would Odell Beckham. Both of them are almost 30 years old. How many years do you think they have left?
Probably 2, 3, I would imagine. Odell definitely around 2 more, just with the injuries he's had. Jarvis Landry, it's more of there's a lot more types like him in the NFL now. He was always thought of as like that dynamic slot receiver, bigger slot receiver. Now you're seeing a lot more of them now. So his age, and I guess the Browns, the way they misused him in certain ways, diminished his value a little bit too.
I mean, the story's coming out that he was interested in Tennessee. Obviously, he bought a house in Tennessee. The Denver Broncos was another team. And after Aaron Rodgers signed that extension with the Green Bay Packers, within, hours after that happened, Russell Wilson was traded to the Broncos.
Yep. Not
surprising. And the other team that I heard that he was interested in possibly playing for was Seattle.
Wow.
And Seattle, obviously, with the problems with Russell Wilson, he wanted to move out to the West Coast. That's where his house is. He lives on the water over there. Now, Seattle's way up West Coast,
yes.
But he decided to stay with the Green Bay Packers, obviously because of the money. Now, this story is interesting because the Tennessee Titans, if they had Aaron Rodgers over there, would they have traded A.J. Brown?
Right.
That's the question. Now, A.J. Brown was traded at the draft with the Eagles. He was traded to the Eagles. He got his extension as soon as he was traded. 4 years, $100 million. He's making $25 million a year. I think he's getting $50 million guaranteed or something like that.
57, yeah.
I mean, it's interesting when you look at Aaron Rodgers and who he is as a player. He makes everybody around him better. Now, when you look at the Green Bay Packers going into the season this year, and there's a lot of weaknesses of the Green Bay Packers. A lot. I mean, defensively, yeah, they added Walker and they added Wyatt, and that's great. And a lot of people didn't think Walker was a first-round draft pick.
Oh, you said Lance was slamming it. I remember that on our panel.
I mean, a lot of people didn't think that he should have been a first-round draft pick. He wasn't even a top 5 player of that defense. But really, when you think of Aaron Rodgers and you think of this story that's coming out, would Tennessee be the favorite to come out of the AFC even if Aaron Rodgers went to Tennessee? I mean, if you look at the AFC now, where the Broncos are, the Broncos got Russell Wilson. So the Broncos have Russell Wilson, and they added some pieces to the offseason. You talk about the Chargers. Khalil Mack goes there. J.C. Jackson goes there. You talk about Kansas City with obviously the draft that they had. They had a really good draft.
Really good.
And the players that they have, they did lose Tyreek Hill. And then obviously the Las Vegas Raiders, who had a fantastic offseason, new coach, new everything. And all the other teams, the Baltimore Ravens, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Cleveland Browns, the Buffalo Bills. I mean, if Aaron Rodgers went to Tennessee, are they the favorites? Is he the favorite to come out of the AFC as strong as the AFC was? And the answer probably is no.
Yeah, because you also have to realize the Titans are very cash-strapped too, kind of like the Packers. So they would have had to probably cut some other players to make the A.J. Brown contract
And
work.
what would they have traded to do that?
Yeah, you might have been even thinking about trading some other players on the roster to even make the money work, or made it tough because the Packers are also struggling with the money too. Now, granted, if they trade Aaron Rodgers, they have all the money in the world, but you're talking about a case where Tennessee would have had to trade some defensive pieces probably. Tennessee would have maybe offensive linemen, and that would have made it harder for Green Bay too. The Titans probably would have just turned into that, yeah, you'll win the division type team, but can you handle stiff competition in the AFC West and the AFC South, which is kind of the team they've been, except for the one playoff run where they went to the AFC Championship game. You're dealing with a case where they would have had to make that roster probably a little better than the Packers, but still not by much, where you're factoring in the AFC competition as well. By the way, Jeff has arrived.
What's up, Jeff?
How are you?
I'm good, man. What's going on?
Dude, you guys fall for every rumor ever. There was zero chance that Aaron Rodgers was getting traded to the Packers. You guys are convenient.
Packers,
Tennessee.
you mean Tennessee. You mean Tennessee.
Or Tennessee. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's my part there. You guys are conveniently forgetting that he's the most selfish pig on the planet and only wanted the money. That's the only reason any of this has happened.
Well,
right?
I will say this. I'm sorry to cut you off. The reason why there was stories coming out from Tennessee is because Tennessee, after they saw Tannehill play the way he did in the playoffs, Tannehill is still owed. I think he has 2 years left on that contract that they gave him. And Tannehill is making $118 million. He's
a bum.
Yeah, he's a bum.
Yeah,
and right now they know they can't win with Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill is owed $38.5 million this year.
Right, but you're also ignoring the other half of the rumor, which was that they also looked into trading for Deshaun Watson.
Yes.
Every NFL team should have been. Listen, it was not a secret that Aaron Rodgers.
There was still a better chance. There was a better chance for Aaron Rodgers going there than Deshaun Watson. Everything that I've read, yes.
But it wasn't a secret that Aaron Rodgers, with his contract thing and the situation in Green Bay, was untenable, and that he was either going to get traded or, something was going to happen there. Every team in the league should have been calling on Aaron Rodgers, maybe not Deshaun Watson, but if it weren't for the off-field stuff, Deshaun Watson too, right? Mm-hmm. So this whole thing is nonsense. It's just nonsense. And you're also he's a selfish pig. You're ignoring that fact.
We all know he's selfish.
We said at the beginning of the segment he was being greedy.
He's being greedy, and that's why he wanted that $15 million. And it's going to set the now, if there's anybody that can win with the players that he has as a wide receiver, it's probably Aaron Rodgers. But again, there's more pressure on him to succeed, especially taking that $15 million. And if they don't win, who do you think they're going to be pointing their fingers at now? They're going to be pointing their fingers at Aaron Rodgers, especially losing in the playoff game against San Francisco, where everybody had them to be the favorites of going to the Super Bowl.
Ironically enough, here's the funny thing. I don't believe that anyone's going to point the fingers at Aaron Rodgers.
I do.
Yeah, I don't, because here again, the front office did front office shit, and they once again didn't draft a wide receiver in the first round. Mm-hmm. Okay, got one in the second round, whatever. But this is now, I forget what it is, 17 or 18 years now.
Jeff, let me ask you a question.
Yeah, since Javon Walker.
You weren't on the show when we were talking about the draft. Most of the top draft.
I made that dude quit.
Yeah, yes, that's right.
We know. You take great pride in that.
You called at the end of the show, but and you had Lance walk off the show. But anyways, when you look at the draft, I mean, the wide receivers, all the big wide receivers are drafted from 8 all the way to 18. All the wide receivers, main wide receivers, the good wide receivers, were off the board by 18, unless the Green Bay Packers were going to trade up and trade their 2 picks, which I didn't see them doing. There was no chance in hell they were going to get one of those wide receivers.
Right, but that isn't here's the problem with that. Is A.J. Brown considered part of the Eagles draft?
No.
Yes, because they gave away draft pick for him. They
Okay.
had that capital, gave away draft pick for him.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So they could have made a move to get some sort of impact player. Other teams did. The Cardinals certainly did by getting Marquise Brown. The Eagles certainly did by getting A.J. Brown. Right? The Packers did squadoosh. Nothing. Zero. They're bums. Why? Because they also can't afford it, right? Because teams handing out $100 million contracts, and because of this greedy pig wanting $50 million a year, and you're seeing it all around the rest of the league, right? Let's just put this into perspective, okay? Like, just seriously here for a second. The teams that gave those contracts to people all have quarterbacks that are making nothing. They're on rookie deals. I know Kyler Murray's making more than Jalen Hurts, but they're on rookie deals. They're not making 35, 40, $50 million a year, right?
Right.
The teams that have quarterbacks making $40 million, the Cowboys have had to cut players to shed salary. The Packers have had to cut players to shed salary. Who else has been doing it?
Tennessee. We just mentioned Tennessee.
The Chiefs.
The Chiefs,
right? And who are the teams acquiring? No one, right? And I'll give you another example of a quarterback making way more than he probably should, and then had to shed players. Throw Derek Carr in that ring. He got $40 million a year extension for 3 years or whatever it is.
Yep.
And now they're not picking up the option on Josh Jacobs. They're looking to trade Darren Waller. They're all moving on. This is not good team building. It's not.
And I think you're right. And I think the NFL has to figure this out, especially what these quarterbacks are making, because it's only going to go up. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is making $50 million. What's next? A quarterback becomes available. One of these young quarterbacks, they're going to be making $60 and $70 and $80 million a year. There has to be some kind of stop, to this. Now, obviously, the NFL.
I don't think that that's the way to do it, though, right? You're saying, there's got to be some way to stop this. No.
Yeah, well, not stop it, but kind of figure out a number that makes sense with some of these top quarterbacks.
No. Here's how it's done. You get your 200 and I think it's 12 million, 13 million, right? You get your 213 million, and you get to spend it however the hell you like. I get my 213 million, and I get to spend it how I like. And this is another reason why, and you guys are going to hate this take.
The Patriots,
but it's true.
Yes, we know.
This is why the Patriots.
We know,
right? When you guys shit all over their draft, okay? What a successful draft, because the Patriots traditionally. They're not paying Damian Harris, who's up.
So let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question right now. So let me ask you a question right now. If you're a team right now, you build a quarterback for 3 or 4 years. The 5th year, you have an option. You weigh your options and let him play out his option, okay? Then you decide, okay, I'm not re-signing him. I'm going to go back in the draft to bring. It's so hard to find a franchise quarterback. You see that, Jeff. The Jets have been looking for a franchise quarterback in 50 years and haven't got one.
Absolutely. But there's clearly answers out there to each problem all the time. And let me just show you, right? Like, if you're looking for it, the answers are there.
Okay.
Let's just take the Arizona situation. You're the one that just said, look at Arizona. I'm not giving a guy $40 million a year who throws underhanded interceptions when I can go get Baker Mayfield on the cheap and probably have a similar offense, right? Look at what the Titans did. They didn't re-sign Marcus Mariota. They said, let's build up the rest of our team, and we'll get by with a noodle arm piece of shit former wide receiver as a quarterback, right? And they've been successful, right? Like, it's very rare that you've been able to see, and by the way, now the team is halfway kind of falling apart. People make fun of them all the time, right? The Rams. Okay, it worked for a Super Bowl, and now all the pieces are gone, right? Like you couldn't afford them anymore, and now you have nothing left because you had to trade all your draft picks to get those pieces.
Right.
So instead of being a participant in the NFL draft, Sean McVay was getting drunk and having a press conference laughing at the first round.
They thought Cole Strange was going to be there at their pick.
Laugh all you want. Isn't that what he did?
Yeah.
He did, yes.
No, the video said, I expected Cole Strange to be there at fourth round or whatever they were drafting in.
He's laughing. He's all happy because he won a Super Bowl.